Love strikes at any age, and sometimes it leads to marriage, even in your golden years. Just ask Jasmine Tan and her husband, Thomas Lee. They met in May 2023 and got married in November that year. Both are currently 66. Hello, I'm Sumiko Tan, and this is Sumiko at 61, a series by the Straits Times on aging well in Singapore. I'll be exploring later in life marriages, which are on the rise as people live longer and healthier lives. For some couples, it's their first trip down the aisle. Others get married after divorce or the passing of a spouse. Jasmine is a former lawyer, culinary author, and tourist guide. She first married at a young age and divorced. Her second husband died in 2019. They had been married for 22 years, and she's a mother of 3. Thomas, who was a construction and project manager and a lay preacher, was widowed in 2020 after 36 years of marriage. He has 2 sons. Welcome, Jasmine and Thomas, to this conversation. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you met?
Thomas has a very good group of friends, his cohort from St. Andrews. I happened to be a Facebook friend of one of his friends, and he then asked me if I was interested in meeting a friend who's recently widowed.
He texted me to say he had a lady friend who wants to talk to me about the work I was doing on Batam. So I thought, wow, I'm going to get a media interview or something. Until today, that interview has never happened.
Right, what were you doing in Batam?
After my late wife Rachel passed away, I was in depression. I came out of depression around 2022. That was when I was invited to preach at Batam in a slum church. I went there. I saw on Batam a refuse dump about 5 stories high. It was drizzling, and there were families with their children rummaging in the rubbish dump, looking for glass, metals, and plastics that they can wash and sell. In the midst of the drizzle, the parents would find something that looks like food. They would eat and then shove it into the mouth of the kids. No wonder the kids were all pot-bellied. Once you see something like this, you can't unsee it. So when I came back to Singapore, I began researching what do people on Batam need, what has been done to help them. They need clean food, they need medicines, the kids need education, a lot of things. And they need clean water. So I researched, got in touch with a company called Water Room that makes water filters in Singapore. So I decided, okay, that's what I'll do. Provide this underprivileged and impoverished people with access to clean and safe drinking water. So I've started doing that before I met Jasmine. And until today, my charity, we have installed 41 water filters all over Batam and even as far away as Sumba.
So you thought Jasmine was going to talk to you about the charity?
Yes, I thought she was going to do an interview for this, and she never interviewed me for this.
Okay, so you text her back?
Yeah, we agreed to meet, and she was late for our first meeting. Because she told me her boss at that time was on a warpath that day. That's why she was late. And so I was hiding behind a corner to see who is this Jasmine, what does she look like, and if she's not somebody I think I like to meet, I can run away.
Oh dear, where did you meet?
I said Plaza Sin, because there was a really, I thought nondescript place, Then you meet somewhere, you make sure that it's somewhere you can disappear.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you remember the restaurant or eatery?
It's a tempura place outside the food court.
Right. Were you very conscious of what you were wearing? Did you take pains?
Actually, I forgot all about it until that day. Then I looked at my diary and I thought, that calendar, and it's like, tonight. Okay.
What about you? I mean, were you nervous?
No, I've met so many people on Batam I've seen for the first time. So meeting her, I wasn't nervous.
Right.
I just wanted to be able to run away.
Okay, so Jasmine, you kind of saw it as a date, did you?
No, it's just not really as a date or something, but it's more like, he's single too, he's widowed. Are you interested in meeting him? So it was, nothing to expect, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you looking for a partner at that time?
I had a whole bunch of girlfriends, And they were just absolutely lovely. It's fun to be with. But it's very different. Sometimes you just want to go to a restaurant with somebody, you want to take a walk, or you just want a pal, right? Yeah.
And Thomas, I mean, your wife had died not too long ago. Were you looking for
2020?
another partner?
No, I was prepping myself for a media interview. Romance was never on my mind. But I found Jasmine very easy to talk to, very engaging. I found her to be a wonderful storyteller. So when she asked me, do I find her attractive? I said, no, you're not a head turner. You're a page turner. Because there's so much to the stories that she was telling.
That was on the first meeting.
No, later.
Later.
I told her.
I know this is kind of mean to say, but older men, I think in Singapore particularly, we've had amazing progress, right? And a lot of men could be CEOs, pilots, but they are boring. And they tend to hash up past glories. And for Thomas, he never did. He calls me a page turner, but for me, it's even more because sometimes like his knowledge in botany, in poetry and things like that, it's not in your face, you know. And then suddenly I'll be saying something and he's like, oh yeah, so, you know, he knows a lot more than me.
Oh, interesting. And Thomas? I mean,
I never knew I knew so much.
So how long was that first meeting?
We were supposed to meet at 6:30. She came nearer to 7:30. We went to Din Tai Fung. We sat there until, closing time? And then I wanted to walk her home. She said no. And then we took an MRT back to her home. And I was confused after she left me because I couldn't find my way out. Almost lost my way out.
Oh, so you went to her house on the
Sent
first
her
day?
back. I have to,
Sent her back.
gentlemen.
Oh, okay.
You
Did
have
you
to
go
do
in?
what the gentleman does.
And actually that was what struck me because just prior to that, I went on a kind of a date with an older gentleman. And we went to Esplanade, right? We went to watch a show. He said he'd pay for dinner, I paid for the ticket. And then he left me at the bus stop. He says, that's my 857. I'm going now. And then I thought, oh, okay. Is that what older men do, you know? So when Thomas insisted, no, I cannot leave you at the MRT because he stays 2 MRT stations. I get off at Farrer Park. He goes to Potong Pasir. And I said, oh, no problem. I mean, I walk home all the time. No, what time is this? 10 o'clock. I mean, you know, how to be scared, right? I mean, this is Singapore. On the second date, it was a group thing. I got friends together to go to a place that I like. And he kept saying that nobody in Singapore does a really good fried rice, you know, with egg, right? Like this is a skill. Like I was, but this chef is not bad, you know, join us. And we had Sylvia Tan Paik Chu. Sylvia To Pek Chu, sorry. She's my neighbor. She stays in Farrer Park. We're very close. We went along and then we were in MRT, right? I mean, Thomas was with us. And Thomas wanted to get up to walk me back, right? Come out at Farrer Park. And she literally pushed him down and said, no, you know, you go on your way and I'll make sure she's home. After that, when we were walking down, Silver went, oh my goodness, what have I done? You know, what have I done? Jasmine, did you want him to walk you home?
Did you?
I mean, I enjoyed being with him. To me, it was more like a friendship, right? Because, you know, when you're single already, you have a lot of different friendships.
Right.
Yeah. So then I said, yeah, just join the makan kaki, we go out. But it is nice. It is nice to have somebody from the opposite sex when you're so much older, right? I suddenly got a text from him and said, I would like to bring you out for dinner for your birthday. And I thought, when has anybody, a male, invited, girls are great, right? But invited me for dinner. It's been a long, long time.
And I thought, well, here's an interesting woman. I'd like to get to know her. So I thought, okay, I'll be going off to Batam and I won't be around for her birthday. So invite her for birthday dinner and see how we can get along. So she wanted, okay. We missed each other at Outram Park MRT. Took us half an hour to find each other. Anyway, we found each other. She told me she wanted to go to Kok Sen. What is Kok Sen? Where is Kok Sen? But she knew the way there. We went there. Place closed.
Renovation.
No Kok Sen. So we walked down the street and came to this famous, very popular porridge place at the corner of the street. I say, come, let's go porridge. And then ordered porridge. And I suppose I ordered some things that I liked, but she found it very grotty. We ate and then finished dinner. She wanted to go for durians. I said, no, it's a bit late. I still have to go back to pack. We were walking and somehow I just, crossing the small little street, I just took the chance to grab her hand.
Now, actually, you said about the durians was when we met, because after we couldn't get Kok Sen, you said, then what do you want to do? I said, actually, if you really want to bring me out for my birthday, then I want to eat durians. And he was like, durians? No, I got no time, like, I'm just bringing you out and that's it, Anyway, I only buy durians from Potong Pasir. And it's too late to call him and all that kind. And I thought, okay lah, let's just get this over with, Then we had dinner. The food was, and I thought, oh my goodness, what's he eating all these innards, At the end of it, he said, you didn't really like the food, is it? And I was like, well, okay lah, Then he went, I'm going to bring you for durians. If you can find durians in this area. You forgot that, right? And then anyway, then Sunday we got up. He held my hand. And I thought, why you hold my hand? It's so weird. He's so straight-laced and suddenly he holds my hand. Yeah.
So, Thomas, why did you grab her hand?
We got to cross the street, Sumiko. So, got to guide the
For
lady,
safety.
right? But I thought also can test water, ma. I grab her hand. She pulls her hand out. No chance, lor. And then I grab her hand. She tightens her grip. Wow, got chance.
Okay, did you tighten your grip?
I don't know. I
But
was
she
just...
didn't remove her hand.
I don't remember.
And then we just
but-
walked to 99
because he's got a very
Trees.
big hand, very hard to tighten.
And then after that, she refused to go back. She wanted to see me home because it was late and then I have to go and pack. So she says, okay.
So what happened after that?
After that, he went
I
to
went to Batam.
Right.
And she kept texting me, when you coming back, when you coming
No,
back.
no, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, you sort of said...
And then wanted to know when I come back. And then insisted on coming to Harbourfront to meet me. Remember?
I don't know about the insistence, but but yeah. So throughout, he left, and then it was quite funny because we were. I think he put me in, in his private charity, Water for Living. They have a WhatsApp group. During that particular week, he was preaching, and somebody kept recording his preaching, somewhere in that group. So when I look at the WhatsApp, like here he is preaching and then here he is singing, that kind of thing. So throughout that whole time he was in Batam, I think he was even sending me poems. You sent me a Robert Frost poem or something.
Miles to promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep.
Right. Why did you send her that?
Oh, this was something that stayed with me, especially after Rachel's passing. I was in depression, and I would take long walks at night by myself just to clear my emotions, clean up my head, and things like that. This was one of those, as you walk, you only have lampposts, and they cast long shadows that disappear. And in my mind would be this phrase, I've got miles to go before I sleep, promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. And I would start walking at Changi Jetty, where we laid Rachel's ashes, walk all the way down along the coast, a long, lonely road. I will end up at Katong Park in the morning, and throughout the night, you just walk, enjoy the breeze. If I'm tired, I will just take a nap in one of the pavilions, and it was my way of coping with depression, coping with grief, coping with Rachel's passing. So that was a phrase that stuck with me.
Right. So when you met those early meetings, did you talk about your spouses that had passed away?
Yes, I think we felt that with late marriages, I mean, as in for both of us, there are there's a lot to clear. There is a lot to clear, and there are a lot of boundaries that we have to agree to. I mean, I have met other men and divorcees. Some divorces. I was also a divorce lawyer. Divorces can destroy a person. It's very hard to not be bitter after a divorce, no matter how towards the other sex. So, but both for me, I had a wonderful marriage. Thomas had a wonderful marriage. We still have our spouses in us, in our souls, because with 36 years with him, 25 years, although we are married like 22 years, something like that, it's like you can't, they're already part of you. So we have to clear that. We have to sort of say, how do we bring it in? Like he talks about Rachel, and to me, she is very much part of him. I talk about Brian, and he is very much part of me, and but we look at them as more like friends from the past. Would you say that? Or how would you say a past?
Like you say, Brian is a part of your life.
Yeah.
Was a part of your life or is. Rachel, likewise, after 36 years of marriage, she's also a part of my life. After we got married, we moved into Jasmine's home. Brian used to be an artist as well. His paintings are festooned from the first story all the way into our bedroom. But I think if that is part of Jasmine's life, those are part of her memories. I am able to live with a memory of him. So leave those paintings where they are. But on my part, for myself, I want to be able to live a new married life with Jasmine, and I chose to give away everything of Rachel to my sons. They deserve that memory, the keepsakes that their mother had, that was their mother's. So we both chose to deal with our past marriages in different ways. Jasmine talked about boundaries. So early on in our relationship, when we started to get to know each other, and I told Jasmine, if we cannot share the same faith, then I would not be able to continue in this relationship. And for me, it is nothing short of a miracle. In June, she asked me, Thomas, will you bring me to your church with you? I thought, oh, that was wonderful. I did not ask her to come to church with me. She asked to be brought to church. I thought, there's hope for this relationship. And then she said she got baptized in October. And after that, we started preparing for our marriage.
Right. So you were a free thinker.
I grew up very much in a family that had ritual. My late husband was Church of England, but he would never go to church. I was never immersed in Christianity. But even before I met Thomas and after my husband died, my second husband, Brian died, I was very interested in religion.
So you met in May, and by November you were married. So when did he pop the question?
I think after the third date,
After I came back from Batam.
He did ask, where do you think this relationship would go? And I told him that I wouldn't make any decision. And he, at one point, he even said that if it's necessary, we'll have a secular marriage, right?
If ever we wanted to get intimate, bring this relationship to another level, we will get married first. And for us to get married at that point in time for me, it will be within the faith, in the church. If that cannot happen, then we will go our separate ways. By the time I came back from Batam, she was asking me to bring her to church. And that was I think, for me, the first positive step in our relationship. I remember bringing her to church, introducing her. This is Jasmine. The pastor stared at her. What did he ask?
Oh, yeah, it was weird because when I was with Brian, he's English, right? Everybody, to everybody else, I was Singaporean or Chinese. But when I'm with Thomas, everybody thinks I'm from Batam or something he dragged in, or non-Singaporean or what, So it's very disconcerting, right? I mean, my family is Peranakan. We've been in Singapore for 5 generations, no?
Because the pastor knew I've been traveling in and out
Yeah,
of Batam.
and he was asking like, so where are you? I think that was his specific question. I looked at Thomas and where am I?
How to answer
How
that
to
question?
answer? And it happens a lot with everybody else, like we're with, like even Grab drivers.
You then decided to get married.
When she started coming to church and after pastor spoke to her, Jasmine decided, yes, she would join the faith, be a Christian, believe in Jesus. And that is when we move forward with our plans to get married. And then, but I have a hurdle because I need to get my kids in as well. They want to bring me out for Father's Day dinner. I had a dessert, a sweet dessert. Then I broached the question, this dessert is quite sweet, right? Yeah, very sweet. Papa, I didn't know you eat so sweet. I want to tell you something sweeter. I met a girl, I met a woman. I find her very sweet. I want to get married to her. They went, oh, that kind of thing. And so I told them, look, why don't we have dinner? And then I will introduce Jasmine, and then you all can get to meet her and talk to her. And so we arranged for dinner, and I met Jasmine there for the first time. And I don't know, did they give you a rough time?
Well, I mean, I told Thomas, number one, first, his kids didn't even know he was dating. My oldest is 42. So I have 42, 40, and 25. My kids...
They've actually met me earlier because Jasmine has this family dinner every Wednesday night. And so I've been asked to go to join in their family dinner.
They're kind of used to many different people, and they knew I was not dating, but I did talk to them about it. I did say, look, if I find somebody, what's your feelings about it? And for them, it's like, yeah, please, you need to live, yeah. So they're kind of really cool about everyone. To them, it's like, oh, even if he lives with me, so what, kind of thing. Like marriage, marriage is not necessary, not should not be on the horizon, because there's companionship is totally fine, but marriage, So I remember my daughter-in-law, who is Canadian Chinese, she was like, I think we were preparing dinner, and then Thomas went to her, and they were like sitting down, and she said, Thomas also said something like, yeah, I'm marrying your mommy. And she was like, is this a joke? Then she goes to me, Mommy, tell me this is a joke. And I said, actually, it's not a joke. Today, it's a day that we are telling you what date it is. Or today, we are telling you when we are planning to do the wedding before the end of the year. And they're like, no lah, never mind lah, next year also can lah. Why this year, For our kids, it was very traumatizing.
Right.
Yeah, for our
And
kids.
Thomas's sons, how old are they?
My oldest son now, he's 38. My youngest son, he's 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened at that, when you told them you met a sweet girl?
They were taken aback and they were concerned because they thought that, Papa, you cannot be serious. You are hoping to make her a Christian and then marry her. It's what we call missionary dating. You cannot be serious, are you? No, but I'm serious. Would you like to meet her? And very grudgingly, they had breakfast with me privately to grill me. What is all this about? What is this romance and blah, 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 But they got
And they
to
asked you
meet.
to use deodorant, I remember. They say, Papa, you use deodorant on. It's quite funny.
But those are kids. Anyway, we had that dinner and then they interrogated Jasmine.
Yeah, I was actually really shocked because his eldest son went...
Jolene came first.
Yeah, well, his daughter-in-law is cool. Like, two of us, let's have a beer. She came early and we were like, what do you want to drink? Oh, let's share a beer, And I think she could straight away sense that, like, who I was in a way. I was not the typical woman that Thomas would meet, right, in church. And then his son said, I can see why my father can, fall in love with you or be attracted to you or something like that. He's
in you.
interested in you. But what do you see in him? And I was like, your dad used to be a project manager, used to do design. I used to run a design company, and we find, a lot of interesting topics, your dad. And they were like, still not convinced.
You missed out the part where you told my kids, I find your dad very intelligent.
Yeah. And they were like, but no, I think are you wrong or what?
When did your kids meet and what was it like?
Yeah, so it was quite strange. Our kids said they want to meet. Actually, we didn't arrange that because we were a bit worried, like, okay, how? So do we do like everyone come together? But the kids themselves said, I think your sons first said, I want to meet her children, but without you, both.
Where did they meet? Your place?
No, they met
neutral,
cities. No, they went to
neutral.
City Square or something.
Neutral.
Sazira, or something, right?
neutral
Yeah.
How did it go?
They really got along really well, every one of them. And I think subsequent to that particular year, after we got married, we had a Christmas party, right? And everybody was there.
Two families came together.
Yeah.
So do you have like a giant WhatsApp family group now?
No, we that's another thing we felt. An OB marker must be drawn. We have made this stance that our kids are our kids. We are not stepmothers or stepfathers. That's not the situation. It's wonderful when they meet. Wonderful that they like each other, and that when there's occasion, we will all be together. But when it comes to our kids, we are the parents. We are their parents. So Thomas would meet his son sometimes, without me, sometimes with me, if it's like birthdays. I would do the same thing with my kids. I try to meet my youngest son and have chats with him. But our decisions are our own decisions.
Right. What do they call you?
Uncle, auntie.
They call uncle, auntie.
Yeah. What we don't want to do is, it's not Brady Bunch. We accept that we have our own families. Ultimately, the mother-father or the parent bond is not something that can be breached with the marriage. Yeah.
And I feel unless her kids ask, Uncle Thomas, what do you think? I will leave it to her to interact with the kids, to deal with their situations or whatever. And the same with my kids, unless they ask, Auntie Jasmine, what do you think? Jasmine chooses not to come into our conversations.
Do you expect them to love Thomas, and do you expect your sons to love her?
I think, to be fair, in reality and practically, I cannot expect them to develop and form the same kind of relationship with Jasmine that they have had with the mother, but that they accept her as someone whom their father has chosen for his future life partner. They accept that and they are able to live with it. I think I'm happy with it.
I don't want y'all to say that because I'm your mom, that you have a duty to be with me. You come and be with me because it's fun, because we are going to do something together, enjoy a meal together, enjoy a conversation together, enjoy an activity together. So we feel that it's not like, oh, you have to respect me, you have to be with me. Parenthood is not an entitlement. To me, it's still a privilege when my kids say, hey, come, I found a new restaurant, or come, I want to cook for you, kind of thing.
On the same basis, I'm not going to force my way into a children's life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to impose myself on them. I'll just be the friendly uncle on the side, and Jasmine will continue to be a mother to her children. I'm thankful, I'm glad they even bother to address me as Uncle Thomas. I'm happy with that.
Did you ever feel like guilty to your late spouses?
You asked a good question, Sumiko, because this was something I discussed with Rachel To feel guilty, no, because this was a subject we broached. And I told her, one day, if I'm not around, will you remarry? Will you, when you find someone else who can make you happy, I want you to remarry. I want you to marry that person. She said, no. If you're not around, I will stay single. I will not remarry. But if I'm not around and you find another woman who will make you happy, you have my blessings to marry her. And we made that very clear. So in her own way, she's already decided she won't remarry, but she gave me her blessings to remarry. And so no, I don't think I need to feel guilty about it. We've talked about it, we've cleared the air, and my children knows that that is what their mother wants for me. In their own way, my kids are glad that I found someone to marry and someone I want to be with.
Jasmine?
I think during the marriage, I did everything I could because I gave up my career as a lawyer. I ran the design company. He was very much larger than life, right? He died at 80. He's 20 years older than me. When he died, it was a huge void. But I felt that what else can I do? It's that stage in life, right? Like I've finished this stage, and now what can I do with my life? He would never have wanted me to be sad, you know. So no, I don't feel guilty, but at all. I treasure his memories.
But for me also, Sumiko, I think for me and Rachel, our common understanding of how long a relationship should last, our faith help us to anchor that relationship too in the understanding, because when we took vows to love, to hold, to cherish, some people use until death do us part,
Yeah.
or for as long as we live. And we both understood that our physical, earthly relationship is only for when we are here on this earth. And once one partner has passed away, that relationship is severed. But for my children, I tell them, no, you have a biological relationship with your mother's family, and that relationship continues. Whereas between your mother, me, and your mother's family, it was a relationship by marriage. But you have a blood relationship, and you must maintain that relationship.
Okay.
On that basis, then, no, I don't feel guilty, and I'm so blessed to have met Jasmine again. And I knew when I met her that this is someone I would like to spend the rest of my life with. But I don't know whether she felt the same way at that time. So I just have to try by holding hands.
What have been some of the practical problems of later life marriage?
I'm very set in my ways, and Jasmine is not used to it. Like we spoke earlier, my taste buds are fixed. So she can try and attract me with Peranakan food, but it's something I need to learn to get used to.
Thomas is happy to sleep on the floor. And he won't sleep on anything but something on the floor. Like he doesn't really want to sleep on a bed. You know, why would not people not want to sleep on bed, you know? So we compromise on a tatami, right? And I never got used to tatami because it's all that rustling, you know. You sleep and you smell all the grass and what, you know. And it's real tatami, you know. We got it made in Japan. And of course, you know, at our age, you don't want to get something on Shopee or what, you know. So it's a very expensive
She's been
tatami.
sleeping in an aircon
Yeah.
environment for the longest time. I am a fan person, so
Yeah.
I'm not used to an aircon.
Yeah.
And so those were things. And then I'm very set in my ways also because things that I consider myself having the expertise, and if I don't invite comments, please keep quiet. But she being the lawyer, the person who she is, she sees a lot of things. And then she will add comments and things like that. It irks me.
Yeah.
And so in this, there's a lot of learning who she is, what she is, and where I am where I can compromise. And there's a lot of learning for that. She's given me a lot of leeway. I love to grow orchids. And then when she emptied out the fish pond on the third story, I took over the fish pond and started growing orchids. She gives me leeway to do all this, to indulge in the things I love to do. And all these years I've never been able to do. I think I've also given way to her late husband, Brian. I feel he's a fantastic painter, and she's got all his paintings mounted. They're very nice to look at. I enjoy looking at them, so leave them be. So there are practical things like this. As to where to live, for me it's easy. I move out and go into her home, live in her home. So some decisions are easy. Big decisions maybe, but they are easy to make. But some things like my own projects where I am concerned, Jasmine, stay out. But I have to come to her because she has got that kind of vision, that kind of insight that I don't have. And I need to eat humble pie. This water for living, how do you think we should go on with it? And things like that. We have been learning to live with each other, to make compromise. Maybe the next big hurdle for me is to learn to appreciate what she cooks for me. Peranakan.
Okay. Were your friends happy for you?
Some of them thought I was getting scammed.
Yeah,
Some of them thought she was getting scammed.
Yeah, the scam bit was major. Yeah, it was very funny because when I first told my friends, these wonderful girlfriends that we meet quite regularly, I said, hey, I think I'm dating a pastor, and they are like, in shock, There were some friends who kept saying, why are you marrying, They were worried that I would not be able to handle marriage, having this freedom.
Right.
Not be able to handle marriage. It's more like they were worried that you'll not be able to handle me. Because I've got friends who were very close to me and Rachel, and they could not accept that I was remarrying. And of course, some of them have concerns that Jasmine does not know me for as long as they have, and that Jasmine would not be able to take my crankiness and idiosyncrasies. They were concerned. We had one friend who actually outright had a meal with us, told Jasmine all the negative things that she remembered about me. Well, but that's what friends are for.
Just one advice for people thinking about later life marriage, either, people who have been single or people who have been divorced or widowed, what would that be?
I would say, take the plunge, get remarried.
Jasmine?
Expectations, talking the hard questions through, really have to have the same alignment when it comes to very hard questions.
We very often realign ourselves at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Talk things through.
Yeah.
Yes,
You have to.
You have to.
You have to hit them up front. Your kids, grandchildren even.
But for me, Sumiko, my faith in God is always the basis for these things. And I've told Jasmine again and again, I've chosen to marry you. Nobody pointed a gun at me. And since I've married you, I am determined to make this marriage work. Up and down, whatever happens, I will stay married and I will make our marriage work.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Thomas and Jasmine. It's been very, very interesting. I hope our conversation gave you some food for thought. Join me again in Sumiko at 61 as we explore other issues on aging in Singapore.